Just noticed my door was open. Welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lepke, and today I am hitting a major milestone in my NaNoWriMo adventure. I am just about to cross the threshold of 40,000 words, so I'm very excited about this. I've got, so far at the moment, I've got 39,659 words, and so for my very first sprint for the day, I'm definitely going to reach the 40,000 word mark. In fact, I'm probably going to get around 41,500 words by the end of today. So I'm super excited. I'm getting so much closer to the end, and I can't wait to reach this goal. I'm just super stoked about it. I have gone through and changed my setup a little bit for the writing. I finally figured out how to put the countdown clock into my streaming studio stuff, and I changed up the arrangement of everything a little bit, so I'm really excited today because everything is starting to look a lot nicer on my stream, and I can't wait to share that with everyone as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with everything that's gonna happen today in my stream. I'm a little bummed out in general, just there's a lot of stuff going on right now in my life. I mentioned it in another stream, but just before the beginning of this month, we found out that my mom has cancer. She has breast cancer, and so today she had a biopsy of her lymph nodes, and depending on what the results are, on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to find out whether or not she has stage 2 or stage 3 cancer. So we're really hoping for stage 2 because it has lower chances of it recurring later on and growing back later on after she goes into remission. So I'm I'm bummed out about what's going on with my mom and all of that kind of stuff, but you know, it doesn't really do any good worrying too much about it until we know what we can do for sure. I do have high hopes for it because because cancer, especially breast cancer, is a lot more treatable than it was. When my mom was younger, she lost her mother to breast cancer. And there's also a pretty big chance that it's genetic in my family, and so she's also getting genetic testing, and if hers comes back positive, then it means that all of her kids are going to have to get tested for it, so that we can mitigate the risk of it in our own lives. So yeah, big things going on in my life and family right around this time, and it does make it difficult to keep up the motivation to do everything, but I am trying my best, and I'm really proud of the work that I've been putting into it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna jump right into the first writing sprint, and now you get to see my countdown clock. I'm so excited. It's the first time I've figured out how to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the writing sprint. So my internet keeps connecting and disconnecting, and that is problematic because if it's doing it right now, it's going to do it for the rest of the night. I'm going to do what I can and try to get through this writing sprint, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to try and finish my writing sprints offline today, unfortunately. But we'll see what I can do, and I'll try to stay on as much as I can. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to work out, then I'll have to shut everything down a little bit early Oh, that stinks. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start up the next writing sprint and see how long it'll let us do it. Another writing sprint out of the way, and it doesn't seem like the internet backed out yet, so I'm glad for that. Might be able to get in another writing sprint. I got in 522 words that time, and I'm up to 40,772 words. So I've done over 1,000 words this time, so even if the internet keeps backing out, I should still be able to, that should still be a good enough amount of words to satisfy me. I think that I'm having the Puka, one of the side characters in the story, learn something new about the main character. And I think him doing so is going to reveal a little bit more about her backstory, which I think is nice because it feels a little more gentle putting it in there. And I think that's a good setup for it. It's also going to reveal a little bit about his backstory, which is also very nice. I think I've decided that his role in the story is going to be as like a deep friendship with the main character. I was kind of wavering back and forth of whether or not it should be a romance between them or not. I decided not to do that, mostly because I don't like giving my main character a romance in the first story of a series, and this might end up being a series. I think that his will be an enduring friendship for her, and I think that he also has to die. But I'm planning on having him be sort of her undead horse for her role as Pestilence, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And she's going to use Magitech to build him a new body after he dies and hold on to his soul. And basically it will make them be like eternal partners, but not like romantic partners. I also felt weird about like him being basically a horse, and like even though he can take human shape, he's basically a horse, and I felt weird about having them have a romance even though they're fairies and it's not quite the same thing. Because everything seems to be not working quite the way I need it to, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there for today. I did get 603 words out of that. That puts me well over what I need for a typical day of NaNoWriMo, so I am pretty satisfied by that. And I even got, I have a total of 41,375 words for the day. So I was actually pretty close to what I expected to get anyway. So yeah, it's been a good day of writing, definitely, and I've gotten a lot in. Definitely I have a lot to be proud of for what I have so far. I even wrote a really disturbing backstory for my main character, so that's great. Thank you very much for joining me today on CC Writes. I'm sorry that it couldn't be longer, but I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you later. Welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lucky, and it's day 21 of NaNoWriMo, and I am so close to the finish line. I've only got less than 9,000 words to go in my novel for the month, which is not to say that I'm almost done with it. It just means that I only have less than 9,000 words until I have enough to win NaNoWriMo. But I'm very excited anyway, and I hope that I'll be able to keep up the steam for the rest of the month to do it. The end of the month is a really difficult part of the NaNoWriMo process because we are coming up on Thanksgiving that is going to be this week, and Thanksgiving always takes a dent out of everything that you do during NaNoWriMo. And then there's like the turkey lethargy that you get that will like put you to sleep and you won't want to do anything even if you don't eat turkey. Like Thanksgiving just comes with a sense of lethargy. And so there's definitely a lot to battle this week as we're going through and getting our words in, but I'm pretty certain that we can do it. We've made it this far, and we just have a little bit left to go. I've been thinking about maybe taking Thanksgiving Day off, but I'm not entirely sure about that. We're still in the middle of the pandemic, and there's the quarantine to think about, and it's not like we're going to be able to go anywhere, but I also did get all of the ingredients to make a nice Thanksgiving dinner for me and my husband, and so it would be nice to have that whole day to just chill out with him and have a nice meal and all of that. I have not had a solid day to myself for this entire month so far because I have been doing the stream every single day. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take Thanksgiving off. No stream on Thanksgiving. All right, first starting sprint over. Oh, thank you for the follow. I finished the book I was reading yesterday and just went straight on to the next book in the series. This one is one of my favorites. It's in the Immortals Quartet, and it's the fourth one. It's The Realm of the Gods by Tamara Pierce, and I really love this one a lot. I like the whole quartet, but this one in particular is my favorite of all of them. One of the things that I keep finding as I'm writing is as I'm reading something, I tend to pull in a lot of the language that is from the books that I'm going through. Probably after this one that I want to read is Becca Cooper series in the same universe. And the reason I want to read that one while I'm writing this is that there's a lot of really interesting magic that you get to see in that one. And it's also with a character who doesn't really have any magic herself, so having that perspective of things that are going on is really nice. And also I really love that series because of like the investigative bent to it. And that is definitely going to lean into what I'm writing in my story, because they have to find out what's going on with all of the Fae that are being taken to the university, and what's happening with the plague that's going on in the kingdom. I still haven't done much with the plague, and I really want to. Like, that's a major part of the story, and I haven't been putting it in very well. It may be something I have to go back through in the editing process and just do better then. But at the very least, I can get like the bones of what's happening here and take care of it. My favorite part of not having a job anymore is the fact that I get to read a lot more than I did before. That's been such a blessing, because reading is such a huge emotional release for me, because I've been getting through about 3 or 4 books a week. which is just, that's the life. It really is. So this time I got in about 586 words. All right, I got more than I expected. That's nice. I'm up to 42,449 words so far in my NaNoWriMo novel. Yeah. I think at the rate I'm going, it should only take probably about 3 days for me to hit the 50,000 word mark. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't think I'd hit it that soon. I mean, I won't be done with my story, so I'm gonna keep doing my story. But it does make me feel better about not doing a Thanksgiving stream. Because, I mean, if I've already hit the 50,000 word mark, the rest of it is just me trying to get the whole story done. And that's pretty cool. I just wrote a super morbid scene in my story where I have like a fairy dying a very gruesome death, and I felt very uncomfortable writing it, but it made sense for it to be there. One of the funny things about me is that like I am one of the least confrontational people that you'll find for the most part, and I put myself in these situations where I write these stories where there's just like a great deal of confrontation that has to be had, and so I will make myself uncomfortable the entire time that I'm trying to write out these scenes where people are arguing with each other and trying not to make the main character back down from it, because that's not really the type of person that they are. Even if they are that type of person, giving them enough of a reason to want to fight back. And that's really difficult to try and balance. And in this case I had there's a pixie was dying, and the main character had to like sit there and face the death in front of her, because what was happening to the pixie is important to the rest of the story and what's going on with the plague and all of that kind of stuff. And it was part of like the progression that the humans are doing to try and come up with a disease that will wipe out the fairies for good. So yeah, it was really horrible to write that section, but I'm proud of myself for getting through it and not getting so squeamish that I couldn't finish. I hate having to write that stuff. My family, they'll do this thing where like they'll get injured, and so they'll take a picture of it and then they'll send it to me through a text message with absolutely no warning whatsoever of what the injury is. And so then I'll just open up my phone and look at the text message that they just sent, and it's just like gruesome injury, and oh, it freaks me out every time. I think they do it on purpose. So this time I got in 503 words. That's very nice. So as long as I get in about 480 in the next sprint, that should be 2,000 for the day, which is super cool. I'm definitely gonna hit 43,000. I'm getting real good at this. Tomorrow, with the work that I'll be able to do then, I am certain that I'll get to the 45,000 mark. And once I'm there, I know I'm home free, because the last 5,000 is always a lot easier than all the rest of it. At least it always is for me in this particular writing challenge. This one, I'm kind of surprised at how long it's turning out to be. Normally I write my stories right around 50,000 words, and this one is going to be much longer than that. I kind of wanted to do a NaNoWriMo stream, a National Novel Editing Month stream, where I go through and show sort of the practice that I typically take when editing everything, but I don't think that I can do that until this one is actually done completely. So I will keep working on this until it's done, and then as soon as I'm fully finished writing it out, then I'll probably take it through my editing process and refine it quite a bit more than what it is. Right now it feels like it's all over the place because it is. I haven't put any structure into it whatsoever, but I do have a lot of like really fun creative ideas that have gone into it. And even the language of the story, the prose, I don't usually strengthen my prose until the last run through of it. So most of the line by line reading of it is like, it feels amateurish, but eventually it's going to get nice and polished and be good to read. That's the hope anyway. And if it doesn't, then I just won't publish it. Or just keep editing until it's good. Hey, welcome back. You actually just came in right at the end of my stream. I got 552 words in this time, nice. So all told, I've got 43,500 words. Super excited. I know, I'm a complete show off. What can I say? When you're good, you're good. So yeah, today I was pretty excited because I got to throw in some decent conflict into the story. I got in a really morbid death for one of the characters, so writing wins all around. And I finally got to a point where one of my characters has gotten infected with the plague that is going through the kingdom. So yeah, it's been a very eventful day for my story. Yeah, I've been struggling to get this plague into the story because it's a really important aspect of it, but I was having trouble deciding how to approach it, whether I wanted to do it like on a more scaled basis to where like it starts off as if it's not that important and then becomes super important later on in the story. But from this point forward, I can't ignore it anymore. I have to have it in there. And they used to catapult people with the plague over the castle walls. Yeah, this one, I think I ended up deciding that I want the time period to be a little bit closer to Victorian because of the technology that I'm putting in there. The magic technology, but still technology. 5 or 6 pages handwritten. My best friend always does all of her work handwritten as well when she first does it. I think for a lot of people that really boosts the creativity of it. For me, I can't write very quickly by hand, and I will get bored really quickly trying to do it that way, so doing it with typing is so much easier. I think there's a chance that I might have a little bit of ADHD, so so whatever I can do to keep my interest in a thing, that's what I have to do. And I do think that I need to call it quits for the day because I have to get started on my dinner. But thank you all for joining me today on CC Writes. I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you guys later. Welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lepke, and today I'm hitting a milestone in my NaNoWriMo story. I am just about to 45,000 words. Super exciting. That's the point in time when everything just flows out a lot easier towards the end of the month. Once you know that you only have 5,000 words, at least for me personally, that's when everything takes a turn and you just start getting like really hyped up to write as much as you possibly can. So I'm very excited to finally get closer to this point in time and make this goal happen. It's day 22 of NaNoWriMo. By this point, typically, let me do math real quick. So by this point in the month, most people should be getting up to about 36,674 words. And for me to be at the point where I've got 45,000, or I'm about to hit 45,000, is monumental for me. I've never ever been this far ahead in NaNoWriMo, and I'm really excited that this month of doing it this way has just worked out so beautifully for me. Honestly, probably being in the middle of the pandemic and quarantining and all of that kind of stuff has helped a little bit, because I don't have as many places to go in November like I normally would. That would take a lot of time away from me and my writing, but still, I'm still super excited that I've stayed ahead this much, and I've definitely seen a difference in the quantity of my writing throughout the month. Just noticed my door was open. I didn't notice right away when the timer went off. Okay, let's see what I got. So during this sprint, I ended up with 642 words. My main character right now, I have her in a classroom where she's doing her first major interaction with the person who's going to be her mentor throughout the story. I think that I'm pretty happy with this interaction because it's showing the intelligence of the main character, but also sort of the way that the mentor and the way that her mind works and all of that kind of stuff. So I think this should be pretty fun. I just finished reading the book that I was reading yesterday, which was Realms of the Gods, or Realm of the Gods, one of the books in the Immortals Quartet by Tamara Pierce. And today I started reading Black by Ted Dekker. The reason I started reading that is because in it there's a plague that goes about, and it's like a biological weapon sort of thing that is tied to what's going on there. And that's very similar to things that are happening in my story. So I wanted to have that nice little reference while I was going through and writing my story. I love that there are so many other books with bits and pieces that I can draw in and sort of add interest to the story that I'm writing. Like whether it's prose or a certain point of view or story elements that are put in there, it's nice having all of that reference to work from instead of trying to come up with everything that has to do with it in my own mind. I got 563 that time. I just make it look so easy. I mean, I've got a lot of practice writing fast, and so that gives me a little bit of an unfair advantage when it comes to doing writing sprints and things like that. But definitely doing the writing sprints has been a huge boon to my writing because it sort of forces me to focus in on what I'm doing. Whereas before, what I used to try to do was like I would spend all day sitting in front of a computer just trying to write, and I would get in maybe 1,000 words a day if I was lucky. And so having this time to focus has really helped quite a bit with getting out more words. Seems to work well for me anyway. I ended up deciding that the crossing of the threshold is going to happen at a different point in time than I initially planned for it to be, just because it made more sense for that to be like, so she wanted to go to the Royal University so that she could learn magical engineering, and I ended up making it so that when she goes to the university, that's the crossing of the threshold, whereas before I was going to have it happen after she is changed by the plague that's going around, but I decided that that needs to end up happening later on. Hello, welcome to CC Writes. And thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm changing things around a little bit, but not so significantly that it changes the story as a whole. I'm just gonna pace it a little bit differently than I had initially planned. $4.94, okay, less than last time, but that's still fine. I have hit 45,000 words. I've got 45,203 now. That's really cool. Oh, I have less than 5,000 to go. That's such a great place to be in at this point in NaNoWriMo. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Honestly, I think within just a couple of days, I should be all the way done with my word count goal for the month. You just revised 2 pages, very nice. Revisions are my favorite part of writing. I love the editing process. It's so much fun. Publisher will be astonished when you send it in on time. I'm very lucky in that I don't have deadlines for the things that I'm doing anymore. I'm glad to be done with that, because that's, oh man, it's so hard to hit deadlines and with all the things that are so easy to distract you. I used to have such weird deadlines at my job too, because things would just pop up out of nowhere, and we would end up having to we would get notified of an assignment that day and be told that it was due the very next day. So sometimes I would have to turn around these really large grant proposals in just 24 hours. It was a nightmare doing those. And then that was in between, you had to do time management for all of these larger projects that you were doing over the course of a month or two. So you had to have those 24-hour projects done, but also keep everything else settled and on track for things that would take weeks to complete. Man, I definitely do not miss that at all. Yeah, that was, I mean, I really loved that job. It was one of the best jobs I've ever had, but definitely those deadlines were a killer. Well, I mean, because it was grant writing, and grant writing, the really fun thing about that is everything that you do helps people. And however much money that you're able to get your organization from a foundation or from the state or federal government, it all goes towards making people's lives a little bit better. And in the place that I worked, we worked in a whole bunch of different areas. So for us, it was mental health and primary care. It was housing and employment, and we did child advocacy and like all of this different stuff. So everything that I worked on helped so many different sectors of all of these different places in the communities where I lived, and that was really satisfying. I loved that aspect of the work. Felt really productive that time. Hopefully it shows in my word count. All right, I got 630 words in that time. So all told, my final word count of the day is 45,833. The total amount I wrote for today, I got in 2,329. That's one of the highest word counts that I've had all throughout NaNoWriMo. So that's really cool. I'm a little worried that I'm making my character a little bit too much of a Mary Sue. I'm gonna need to throw a wrench into her abilities here pretty soon. It's not good when you have characters that are good at everything. Might need more context. Do you know what a Mary Sue is? Well, if not, just in case, in writing, a character who's a Mary Sue it's a kind of person who's just good at everything naturally and doesn't have to really like struggle to learn anything. And right now I have my character in her courses at the university. She's sort of like excelling at every course she's been in so far, and I want to make sure that she struggles a little bit learning something. Like, not everything has to come completely naturally to her, because otherwise it will make a very boring person. All right, well, I need to get going for the day because I have to go pick up groceries at the store in just a little bit. But thank you all so much for joining me today on CC Writes. I really hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you guys later.